Aloha and welcome to this WOD. What we're going to do is buy a custom domain name and set it up to point to our application instance that we've got running on CloudBees. So this is again not very hard to do. You should set up an account with your favorite domain name registration service. Namecheap is pretty cheap, and I use it for mine. So it's it's a reputable provider. You can use a different one if you want. And before we go there, so we've got our Surferpedia instance. You can see it's running at cloudbees.net, and our goal is to provide a nicer URL for it. So let's start by actually going to Namecheap and doing a search and seeing if we can get Surferpedia dot something or another. And so after a little bit of searching, we find that there's a whole bunch of different possibilities that vary in price. Like for example, here's Surferpedia.pw that's available for only $3.98 a year. As well as a few more expensive ones, but most of them are in the $10 range. So we could get, for example, surferpedia.org for 12 bucks or $11.50, or surferpedia.us for $8. For the purpose of this exercise, I don't care which one you buy. Spend the minimal amount. I guess I'll leave surferpedia.pw for someone to snag, but I'll take surferpedia.us. That's kind of a nice, it's a pretty reasonable domain name, and it's just $8. Okay, and you could get boardsurfer.com for $1,200, but I don't recommend that. Okay, so spend under 10 bucks. So we basically add it to cart, and then we go to don't buy anything else, right? And we can go to checkout. Maybe there's coupon codes for this, I don't really know. Then there's stuff you have to fill out here, and we're going to not renew automatically. We're going to use the free name servers, and we will set this stuff up later. So we'll go to the next step. Click the button. And we get to the payment page. So it's going to be $8 to do this. I don't require you to buy much in the way of textbooks and so forth, so I am going to ask that you plunk over the $8 just to prove to yourself that you can go through this whole process. It's kind of sad to spend $8 for this, but I think at the end of the day, it's a worthwhile investment just to prove to yourself you can do this. So I'm going to pay with a credit card, and okay, and so now we have bought that particular domain, surferpedia.us, which is great. And so now we can go and set up the CNAME for this. And so if we go to surferpedia.us, okay, and then we go to all host records, okay. What we're going to do here is select our CloudBees name, and then in this field we're going to put just the host name, okay, without any of the HTTP stuff. I'm going to select that. and then I'm going to also put it into that field, and then I'm going to set both of these to CNAME. What that means is that both HTTP surferpedia.us as well as HTTP colon www.surferpedia.us are both going to point to our CloudBees instance. Okay, so then I'll go down here and I'll say Save Changes. Okay, and we've updated the records, and if you're into the whole networking thing, you can see that they've actually added the period at the end of this, which is necessary for this to work correctly. So I didn't have to manually do that. They do that for you. Okay, so having done that, what we want to do next is do an NS lookup to see when our surferpedia.us is actually pointing at the okay, it's already working. All right, so just in a few seconds, we see now that surferpedia.us is pointing at our Surferpedia CloudBees instance. So the only remaining thing we need to do is we copy this, and now we go to CloudBees, and we click on Apps, and we click on Configure for Surferpedia, and we see we have some domain names here, because I was testing this out before. So now I'm going to replace it with my surferpedia.us and www.surferpedia.us. Okay, and then I'm going to go Save Changes, and it's going to redeploy the application. And it's been redeployed. So we can go here and we can just refresh to see that it in fact is good. But now what we can do is we can say surferpedia.us, and in fact that takes us to our new site. And in fact we can also, just to convince ourselves that everything's working, whoops, we can type in www.surferpedia.us and we get the site. Okay, so there you go. In about 10 minutes, we've, or maybe less, I forgot to put the timer on, but I'll check the YouTube video. We've got ourselves a custom domain name for our site. Hope you liked that. See you later.